At the computer now, so we're looking at MSI Center in this particular instance because that is what I'm using. So as you can see, there is the CPU fan settings for our SWA fans. There is the pump setting for the actual pump itself, and also I've got the pump fan, which is the VRM cooler, actually plugged into sys fan 1. So that is how I've got those set up, as you saw in the installation video. So that's fine, and our system fans are on sys fan 3 and sys fan 4. So you can see they're running low and slow currently, which is absolutely fine. That's what we wanted, so I just wanted to quickly show you that. So I can close that down. Now this is the Thermaltake LCD software. Now this actually is different from the TT ARGB Plus. It would be nice if they actually integrated it into that at some point. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I haven't seen or heard of any roadmap for this particular software in terms of changes. So all I'm going to be able to show you are the features and settings which are available as of today's recording date, which is the 13th of February 2026. This is the latest version of the software at the time of recording. So just to go through, so on the main screen, or the first screen, you've got your overview, so it just gives you ideas of CPU temps, etc., RAM usage, all that kind of usual stuff, network activity. At the time of recording, none of this is adjustable or changeable. Potentially it may be later, but at this present time, it isn't. Next, you've got system information, which is a more blown up version of that. So you've got information about your CPU, GPU, motherboard, memory, hard disk, monitor, network card, and sound card, etc. So that is all in there. You've also got the Minecube bit, which we'll look at shortly, and also you've got your settings page. So in the settings page, you can choose your language, your temperature units. So if you're looking at this and wondering why it says Celsius rather than saying Fahrenheit, if you're in the States, etc., then you can toggle that to suit your needs. Also, turn on fast startup. I guess this is for the actual display itself. That isn't particularly obvious what it is, but I'm guessing this means that the TT software can start up on Windows boot up. Also, when you close it, it just minimizes it rather than actually exiting the application. You can choose to exit if you wish. If you do, it may change the display on your cube. Also got your logs, which may be useful if you get any issues. They may ask you to send a copy of your system logs or the device logs if you're getting any problems. Also, you can use an AI model and you can get a key from something like OpenAI. You can insert your key and then you can use the AI feature within the application. I won't be showing you that on this particular video because there's going to be way too much to cover anyway. Obviously, you know what AI can do, so if you tell it to make an image of a certain sort, you can basically import that into your cube. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Also, you've got the current version 1.14, and you can check to see if there's an upgrade from the site itself. And if you scroll on through, LCD screen, nope, that is the current version, version 1.14, as of the 13th of January this year. So that is absolutely fine. We can close that. We don't need that open anymore. So let's take a look at the Minecube itself. So this is the main control screen. Now you've got two distinct different kind of settings or options. So the first one is the current mode, which we have here, which is the unified display. So basically, unified display is all of the cube sides. And that section, you've got the option for the various presets, which you can see just off to the left hand side of the screen at the moment, which I'm recording. You won't be able to see obviously all four sides because there isn't a camera that can do that at the moment, but hopefully you'll get the general idea. So if you click on a preset, it basically changes it and loads it into your cube. And at the moment there are just these 5, so not a lot of choice. Again, hopefully on their roadmap they will improve and increase the number here. So you've got your typical Minecube, you've got I'm not sure what this is, some dude with a sword, whatever. Then you've also got a space theme, reminds me of Interstellar. Then there is also a kind of cube thing with I don't know, some kind of, I don't know what that is. Someone let me know in the comments what that actually is. Then you've got a static Thermaltake, or semi-static, so it's just a Thermaltake logo with some animations, some blocks going around. And then finally you've got the animated one, which is basically what happens when it boots up for the first time, which you've probably seen some B-roll already. So that are that's basically your 5 options. So hopefully they will expand that or allow you to create them or modify them. At the time of recording, these individual 5 themes are not changeable. So they are basically as they are. You cannot add anything to them. So unfortunately, it does actually say on the box, or it shows on the box, the Minecube that we've got here with temperature settings on, which you cannot do. So hopefully they address that soon, because I think that is a little bit misleading, but I guess it is a work in progress and it is still very early in the software's kind of evolution. So we've got some obvious things here. So you've got your brightness setting, 10%, 50%, 100%, so you can set that as appropriate. And also you've got your screen rotation. Also, there is this screen on, so you can just turn individual screens on or off, or you can do it to all screens. So if you click on apply to all screens and then do screen on and screen off, it will turn them all on and off. So think of the apply to all screens as a toggle switch, like a light switch, so it's either on or off. So if it's off, you're individually manipulating the individual screens, as you can see there on the software. If you do apply all screens, it'll do all of them. Now you know which one you're actually on because it's highlighted in pink just around the outside edge. So if we click on screen 1, you can see there is like an edge around the outside, and also that one there if we go on to screen number 4. And you can rotate this as you would like in CAD software, that sort of thing. Just click and drag and you can move those around as appropriate. Now also as well, depending on your particular setup and how you install your cube, you may find that some of the images are in the wrong places. So that is why we've got the screen rotation, because obviously you're going to need to rotate them depending on your installation orientation. If you click on adjust, so you can see now we've got all the 4 screens. So that is on my layout. As a default, 1 was at the top and 3 was at the bottom. So if we click on restore, mine should look a little bit weird. Actually, no, sorry, that's not it. No, default. If you click on default, that resets it back to default. So now on the monitor screen on the left hand side there, you can see that screen number 1 is now showing the clouds, which really they should be at the top. So again, if we click on expand, so really we want the cloud like this, always shows the right way up no matter what. But the screen numbers, as you can see, so numbered 1, 2, etc. So if you want to move them around, you just click on the first one, highlight it so it's got the border around it, highlight the second one and click swap. And there you go. So now that should be in the correct orientation. And you basically just select your screens. So yeah, that looks better now. So 1 is on the front, 2 is on the side, and 4 is on the left, and 3 is on the top. So yeah, hopefully that makes some sort of sense. If you want to swap the side ones, just select the 2 screens you want to swap, click on swap, and they will be on different sides, which again may or may not work for you depending on your particular settings. So I'm going to set that back to there. So yeah, that is how to change your screen positions. Also as well, if you choose an individual screen, so say for instance on this one, we're going to do number 1, which is the one at the front. So if we change the rotation, you'll see the screen changes its orientation. So depending on what works for your particular cube in your particular system, you can set it to the appropriate rotation. Pretty much makes sense. They have added this button here which says default, which is a little bit misleading. Default basically means reset. So reset all of the settings for things like brightness, screen rotation and screen placement. So if you get to a point where your cube is non-responsive, click on default and it will essentially disconnect the USB and reconnect it to save you having to do it. Alternatively, if you're getting problems, you can just exit the software, close it down and restart it, and potentially that will work for you also. So that is the main settings. If we go into the current mode and choose to satellite displays, so this is where we can actually get a little bit creative, which is a shame that you can't get creative on the ones that they've pre-baked for you. That is a shame, but I guess it is what it is. So in this section, again, we've got the same sort of setup, but underneath now we've got more screen presets, and also we've got the plus icon, so you can create a new preset or you can edit any of the existing presets. So normally it comes with, I think it's 4 or 5. I've actually created a couple of my own. So mic test, you can see there, the eyeball, the dancing man and under the sea. And you can basically go completely to town with this. So let's choose screen number 1, which is highlighted here on the front, so you'll be able to see it on the screen. And if we just choose the first one here, so first preset, as you can see, so now that's gone to the CPU temp, GPU temp, and RAM temp. If you click on it, you've got the options for edit and also bin. So if there's one you don't really like, you can bin it. So let's click on edit. So in here, you've got the options for basically moving all of this stuff around and changing it however you want to. So if you wanted to change this background, so this is one of the pre-baked ones. So if you go to select background, you can choose a different background. So one that is already included, or if you want to, click on plus and you can choose a location on your computer. So let's choose, for instance, this video file. You can get it sort of centralized wherever you want to, or you can move these around, make that larger, crop it. Obviously, most video format is going to be 16:9, but the cube itself is square. So do bear that in mind when you're selecting your footage, but we'll click on confirm. It will process a segment of the video. It won't show the whole video because there isn't enough memory built into it to do that. And then if we highlight that one, that looks pretty good. So we got our Porsche there and we've got our settings. So we can now save that. We'll call it Porsche. And save and add theme. So now that's basically saved as a theme. And if we go back, we can see now if we scroll along, there is our Porsche theme, so we can click on it and we can apply it to that screen. Now if you want to, you can apply it to all the screens. So if we click on that again, click on apply to all screens, now it will show on every single screen. So you can choose to do that if you want to. Again, that is up to you. You've got the optional ones there. That is one I created using the ROG font. Got an eyeball, the dancing man, and in the top corner it's got the CPU temperatures. Then we've got under the sea, which is one I created myself. And again, we go back to our Porsche one. So if we want to modify that even further, you can do. So on the right hand side in the object section, you've got the choice of text, data, donut charts, single stack bar, status charts, or icons. So if you just want to put in a piece of text for some reason, just add object and change the text. So we'll call this Porsche. Actually, no, we won't. Let's call it Mike's Unboxing. So Mike's Unboxing, and then you can change the coordinates, the location. You can change the font. So let's choose one of the many fonts which are available. And there's actually loads of them. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm not really keen on that one. Let's do, yeah, that looks fine. So with that, then you can drag it around if you want to, put it wherever you feel appropriate. So maybe we'll stick it there. If you're not too sure about centralizing, you can basically center horizontally and also you can center vertically. So you can do all those things there. So basically there's a lot of manipulation you can do here. You can also make the text bold, and if you want to, you can change the color. Now this is an interesting one. So if, for instance, I want to do, actually let's cancel that because I don't want to do that. You can have a clear background if you want to. I'm going to delete that because I'm not really happy with that. So I'm just going to modify what is here. So say for instance on this CPU temp. Now I actually would quite like to do that in, let's say, red. Now say for instance you're doing a red down here. So it's not always entirely obvious what that is if you need to do it loads of times. So little cheat there. If you just right click down here, do Control C, we'll choose OK there, and then we'll choose the GPU temp, and we'll choose the color. And if we go down into the bottom here, we'll delete that, Control V, and choose OK. And there you go. So you can copy and paste those. So if you've got an individual color which you specifically want to use for those, rather than having to look it up individually each time, then you can literally just go into the bottom here and type in the RGB values for it. So if you've got a particular color and you like the RGB values, then yeah, you can do that. Let's do Control V, put that in there, click OK, and there we go. So now that is changed. Obviously it's not changing in real time on our cube because we need to save it. So let's try Porsche red, save and add theme. Now we can go back, and if we scroll along here to our themes, we've got our red one, and we can apply it. So now we've got red text, which actually looks pretty crap, so it doesn't stand out very well. So we can just go back and choose our existing one. So as you can see, there are a lot of things you can change in here. You can go absolutely nuts. It's going to be one of those things that if you're a creative person, it's going to be awesome. And of course, like I said before, if you want to, you can use the AI Forge, Thermaltake's AI Forge. For that, you will need to have a OpenAI account and also a key, and it will potentially cost you money every time you do it. So for me personally, even though it's nice that it's baked in already, that you can use it, I would probably go to one of the free sites, or maybe even kind of Gemini or something, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to use, do it that way. But if you want to use the AI Forge integrated, you can do. As you can see, I haven't got the key installed in this one, so I'm not going to show you, but it's pretty straightforward. It's obvious what it does. It opens up an AI element and you just tell it what you want the screen to look like, and it will create a background for you, essentially. So yeah, that is kind of pretty much it. Again, objects wise, if you want to add a donut chart in here, you can do. So if you want to assign that to maybe your CPU actual activity, at the moment we're kind of idling a little bit, so that's fine. And you can choose your start color and end color. So let's start with green and we'll end with red. I think that probably makes sense. And the background color, I think we'll just go with white. I think that'll work okay. And again, you just drag that around, you can resize it, all that kind of stuff. If you want to make it a bit smaller, let's choose, yeah, it says radius size there, which is a little bit kind of, yeah, a little bit strange. So if you wanted to, you can add that, maybe stick that in the side there, put it wherever you want to. Or if you want to move these around, you can move all that stuff around, all these little icons and stuff like that. You can do that, the load, etc. You can go to town, and if you think you've made a mistake, you can just click on reset and you can go back after. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I think it looks quite nice. It's nice that they've added the extra functionality to allow you to make the changes as you see fit, which is pretty good. I just wish that they really go into the unified display bit and give you some options to change things, because I like these quite a lot and they're quite kind of well known, I suppose, almost iconic. So it'd be great if you could go into there and actually add in your CPU temps and GPU temps on here, as it shows on the box, which sadly at the moment isn't available. But what they add to the software, it's exciting to see what they're going to do. And again, what you can do as well, which I haven't mentioned, but I guess I should have done, is if you're in the satellite displays. Now, say for instance on each screen here, you choose a different movie which you've recorded, but it's 4 angles of the same thing, and you want them all to start at the same time. If they're slightly out of sync, if you click on the sync button, it will synchronize the start time of every one of the screens. So potentially that might be useful. Or if one of the screens just for some reason gets out of sync, which it can happen, just click on sync and it will automatically synchronize everything for you. So there you go. There is pretty much everything that I can show you within a reasonable time frame. You can pretty much go nuts with it. So CPU temperature, we'll change that one to CPU usage. Okay, move them around, place them wherever you want to. It's going to be one of those fun things where you can spend absolutely hours configuring it to your heart's content and making it work for you. So there you go. That is the Thermaltake LCD software. Let's get back to the actual review.